accidentally became valedictorian. Let me explain. When I started my freshman year, I didn't even know class rank was a thing. I posted this short a year ago and it blew up. Of course, it's not the full explanation, and many of you asked me how to become valedictorian. So this video will show the full picture, the ultimate guide of how you can achieve the same or really any big goal. Even if you're not aiming for number one, you'll learn how to naturally improve your grades and class rank, because I'm no different from you. I got lazy, I snuck into the basement to watch Chinese dramas while my parents thought I was studying, and I had teachers who took the teach out of teacher. The first thing you must understand is that to achieve greatness, you have to stop doing what average people do. Since I'm no genius, what set me apart and is going to set you apart is in your smart and hard work. Be prepared to stand out, and when you do, be proud of yourself.
Their success is related to standing out, not fitting in. One wants to be the needle in the haystack, not a haystack.
When people inevitably think you're different, you tell them, yes, I am different. Like right now, pat yourself on the back for clicking this video. You see, you're already selecting yourself to be part of the extraordinary fraction because most people are now incapable of watching any video longer than 10 minutes. They're daunted, but you will not shy away from what it takes because you know that reaching your potential is not easy, but that's what makes it worth it. Then if you watch through this video learning everything including the golden mindset, you will be in an even smaller fraction of people. Hey team, it's Amy. I make videos about how to get A's the cool way by sharing holistic mindsets and habits to help you succeed even beyond school. Today, you're going to see my exact journey, so my study tips and mindsets will come to life. I'll reveal the golden mindset that ties everything together at the end. Let's go. Many people say they had the goal of ranking number one since freshman year. To maximize your cumulative GPA, it seems that you must strategize even before starting high school. Then it's no accident when your optimized 3.5 years leads you to become valedictorian. But me, as a freshman, I was pretty clueless. All I knew is that from now on, what I did mattered to colleges. Like 2023, Amy said. When I started my freshman year, I didn't even know class rank was a thing. So I didn't even know I could have the goal of being number one. I knew colleges liked harder coursework, so every time a class had an honors version, I would pick that one, leading to this class schedule. Turns out, honors and AP classes give a weighted GPA of a 5.0 instead of a 4.0. That's why they're called weighted classes. Your weighted GPA is the average of all of your class grades, which is why when you take more weighted classes, that GPA will go up. Because I made myself ready for high school, I could consistently execute the classic tips like active recall, making my freshman year not too bad. I was always so eager to get my homework done as soon as possible. It was almost like a game because I knew that when I was done, I could relax and hang out with my sister. We could go out and play volleyball, basketball, and do other fun things. Yes, we get tired. I get lazy like you too. And sometimes when I'm working, I start spacing out. But this second laziness wins out. I was too lazy to get stressed, which I knew I would be if I procrastinated. I knew that I would have to get the work done at some point, so I thought to myself, why not just do it earlier? I valued having real fun and chilling without feeling guilty of my work, so that's why I actually enjoyed challenging myself to start homework the moment I got home. My freshman year, I also started making friends with some upperclassmen. That was important, and you'll see why later. However, on November 26, 2013, something very, very dangerous happened. I started something that, if left unchecked, could have destroyed the possibility of all my future achievements. I downloaded my first social media app, Instagram. I got so obsessed with the number of likes after I posted something, and I couldn't help but care about what my friends were doing and who they were doing them with. This became a real problem. I started checking my phone when I was doing homework and studying. I was always distracted. So to combat this, I would put my phone away in a different room. At the end of freshman year, I was around rank 4 or 6, something around 5. Honestly, I didn't think much of it. I was pretty happy with my classes and getting straight A's, and I enjoyed my ceramics and art classes, even though they were actually dragging my GPA down. Sophomore year, I heard that colleges really care about your coursework now, so I reduced the number of regular classes, with Spanish being the only unweighted one because it didn't have an honors or AP one in my level. Things started to get tough. I was taking my first AP class, but not only one, but all three at once. Not only that, but I was still playing on my school's basketball and volleyball teams, and I added on volunteering at the hospital among other extracurriculars. To handle everything, a habit that I have to this day is what people call a second brain, and it's to write down everything. Every reminder, every club meeting, how a specific class grades. Like, look at my planners. I'm actually so mad at myself that I don't have any copies of my high school planners because they looked way more chaotic than these middle school and college examples. I planned down to every last little detail, even writing my daily outfits at the bottom. The efficient way I planned, though, was I didn't take a chunk out of my day each week to plan and schedule things in my week. I would just write them as things came up. And when I had some downtime in class, I would evaluate my planner, shift things around, plan my outfits for the week. That way, this planning wouldn't cut into the time before bed or stress me out in the morning. These little things add up. That's why I always say to use your dead time. Another important thing I did was to adapt when things didn't go as planned instead of getting frustrated. As you can see, I did this with my arrows, moving little things around. One big myth I hear is that you need to be neat and clean in order to succeed. I agree, it does look very, very nice in those aesthetic homework videos, but I'm proof that you don't have to be the neatest person. Whether it was my desk or my planner, everything was quite messy, but everything has its place, okay? It was messy, but organized. Honestly, I was a little lazy when it came to making things neat because I thought it would just take way too much work. That's because I didn't know of tools like digital planners. This is called a Kanban board, which you can only learn about in the corporate world. I first learned about it at my software engineering internship. This Kanban board format is where you can link little tasks with big projects. That way, everything is more organized and easier to move around. If you use this streamlined system for your digital planner, you'll be leveraging some corporate knowledge that most students probably wouldn't know. This is the only digital planner on Notion I've seen that uses a Kanban board like this. So I'm pretty proud that after like 5 hours of working on this, I made it so my past student self would have loved this to make everything neater in an easier way. Like, you can easily drag your boxes to different days of the week instead of drawing messy arrows like I did. Plus, you can link each of your tasks and then also link all of your class's information conveniently. Link is in the description if you're interested. Continuing about sophomore year, AP Government was such a struggle. There were tons of things to memorize, and I remember getting the most bad grades in this class that I've gotten before. After getting a bad score on an exam, I really wanted to beat myself up for it.
Breathe, breathe. I'm a failure.
But then I realized that's not how I would like someone else to encourage me to do better next time. In middle school, I might have been that kid getting frustrated by a 99%, but I was no longer that person. I had to talk to myself kindly like I would talk to a friend. Remember to be your best friend. That's what really helped me. When something went wrong, encourage yourself. And if something went right, then celebrate yourself, have a little dance party in your room, really make yourself feel proud of what you achieved. Don't just limit celebrating your good grades. If you stick to your study schedule on the weekend, then celebrate that too. If you're ready to be your biggest cheerleader this year, then comment, "I'm my biggest cheerleader," to commit. At the end of sophomore year, I moved up to rank number 3, and I wondered, can I be number 1? See, that was positive feedback. When you have some great results, you crave it even more. But see, I didn't actually change anything that I was doing. I continued maxing out my classes and studying efficiently. Junior year was killer. This was the last chance to beef up my college application. This was my course load, and you best believe that I was pulling out all the stops: math competitions, weekly tutoring, club leaderships. And that means it became harder and harder to manage everything. But I knew that to handle all of these things, I would have to keep my body healthy, which is why I prioritize getting an average of 8 hours of sleep per night. Yes, I have eye bags, but these are genetic. Trust me, I've tried getting rid of them. Another big help was to be outgoing and make upperclassmen friends. For example, in honors history class, I was chatting with my senior friends sitting in front of me, and they told me that there's an online health gym class. This counts as a PE credit. And why was this so cool? Because it gives a weighted GPA. This is a key tip. The advantage of this gym credit, because I would have to get gym credits anyway, is that it's one fewer 4.0. See, the way math works in this scenario is that a lower GPA can damage you more than a good GPA can help you. Junior year, I had another really frustrating class, and it was frustrating because it was hard, not because of the subject, but because of the teacher. AP Environmental Science. It was so aggravating because our teacher graded really arbitrarily. Most of our grade was dependent on these random projects. I was averaging a B in AP Environmental Science when I was getting A pluses in AP Chemistry and AP Physics. What saved my grade in APES was setting my pride aside and doing the extra credit. I read Silent Spring and I wrote a report on it or something. Don't let your pride get in the way. Always do the extra credit. Always ask for help, or if there's a new opportunity for you to bump your grade. The crying baby gets the milk. To handle things junior year like a superhuman, I had to become lazy, but in a smart way. That means not reinventing the wheel, and I discuss tips like that in this video here. Okay, so we're already deep into junior year. What is something that you did not hear me say I did? I didn't follow instructions or rules to get myself working, like the 2-minute rule or the Pomodoro timer. The moment you think you need to follow prescriptive rules to force yourself to do something, you're already not a winner. Because winners want to start grinding. In fact, they get annoyed when someone tells you, work harder. Not because you don't want to work hard, but because you don't need someone to tell you to work hard. You think, I've got this. You don't need to remind me. Life is fluid. We all go to different schools. There's no instruction manual for life. There are no rules telling you to do this specific XYZ thing every time A, B, C happens. The same tip doesn't work in every situation. You have to become your own coach, be the expert at getting yourself fired up and figuring out what study techniques work for you. For me, I had the mindset that homework doesn't begin after school. Homework is lunch breaks, time during class when the teacher stops talking. It's any time, waiting for my tennis match to start.
Can't wait 4 hours for one of you guys to show up.
Oh, hello.
I don't need to see other people studying to decide I'm going to study right now. It's a race with myself. Now, here comes the twist. Halfway through junior year, I was actually neck and neck for my GPA with someone else. And they were a friend too. Funny enough, I had always compared myself with him since elementary school because he was an actual genius. At a club event, a crazy thing happened. We were chatting and somehow the word valedictorian came up. So he proposed that we match up our class schedules so we can force each other to tie for valedictorian. Naturally, I was surprised. Tempting. If someone asked me this 2 years ago, I probably would have said yes. But by then, I had already gained confidence in myself, so I thought, well, whatever happens, happens right. Whatever place I earn, I want to know that it was just my best that I tried. I don't want to change anything for someone else. So I politely said something like,
That's a great idea, but I want to see what happens by me just trying my best.
A great attitude to have is you do you, I'ma do me.
Do you, boo-boo. You know why? Because I'ma do me.
Try not to compare yourself too much. I used to compare myself so much, asking my friend,
What did you get on that test? What did you think of question number 5? How did you figure that out?
but that meant that I myself was just not secure enough. So I learned, no, I'm going to put my solution first because why would you know better than me? I can learn from you and discuss answers, sure, but I need to rely on myself and my own abilities first because I only have me on the actual test. Here's the mind-blowing thing. That attitude is exactly the attitude of someone who's number one. I accidentally adopted the mindset of a number one student. Because yes, valedictorian, ranking number one is using GPA, but book smart isn't the most important thing. If you're number one, I see that as being the go-to expert, a leader. That's who I became. I didn't have to pretend like I'm a leader or someone deserving of number one. I embodied that. I was the kind of person who can be number one. I keep using quotes because life is not so binary of, oh, first place, second place, blah, 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 right? But this is school, so this is just an example of how you can excel to be your best you. You stop being average the day you decide to become a champion, because the average person won't make that decision. Trusting in the process paid off because by the end of junior year, I was rank number one. Whoa! I maintained this rank into senior year when I ended my first semester of 12th grade with a 4.84 GPA and the entire 4 years with a cumulative 4.82 GPA. Overall, I got the highest GPA ever in my district's history. So you've already seen a bunch of magical pieces of advice, but here's a magic trick. Every tip you saw today can actually be a habit. It all comes down to your habits. Just like the author of Atomic Habits, James Clear, says, your habits will either lift you up or hold you back. Choose wisely. But how do you automatically choose the right habits without thinking too much? Here is the golden mindset that might sound a little controversial, but you'll get it. Become self-centered. Put yourself at the center of your universe such that whenever it comes to a choice of, for example, choosing your phone or working on your homework, you are going to choose yourself, which means homework because that is good for yourself. This will make it so much easier to put your phone away because those people you see on Instagram,
Ew, I don't even know those people. Why am I investing my time and energy onto them?
self-improvement is hard because the word improvement implies that you're not good enough. Instead, replace the word improvement with love. So it's really self-love. Because when you love yourself and believe in your potential so much, the right choice is obvious. Whatever serves you. You have to care a ton about yourself, care a ton about fulfilling your potential and your well-being, care about your process so it's easier to do it well. Like I cared so much, honestly way too much about this video topic that I've been writing this video outline since July 29th. Almost nonstop each week, writing, rewriting, moving things around, even thinking of ideas on my way to the subway stop. I went over this outline maybe 20 times, but I'm still afraid that I'm not doing justice to it because I care so much. And maybe, just maybe, that's why I have over 400,000 amazing members on this A-team. The A-team, the best team, is you. You are not swayed and not tempted to fall into peer pressure because you simply don't care about them. You choose where to put your caring into. It's simply not who you are to care so much about other people's lives because you're too busy bossing your own. If you currently struggle with this, here's an actionable way to stop caring so much about other people. Stop discussing them. I know it's fun to gossip sometimes, but if you do that, you are acting out of alignment with the person you want to be. Great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, small minds discuss people. Sometimes I get the urge to act like I'm from 2012. Wow, some of you might not have even been born then. What? Actually, when were you born? I promise I won't look up your personal information. Comment below. I'm curious. I know this video is becoming quite hefty because becoming valedictorian and achieving a big thing is so much more than just a few little tips, and I'm not even giving the full 100% story yet, but just know that the purpose of this is for you to really rewire your mindset, and you can watch this again and again and just skip to the parts that you want. So yes, I accidentally became valedictorian.
He said it.
You don't need the goal of becoming number one. You don't even have to know if being number one is a thing. I didn't because my immigrant Chinese parents didn't know anything about getting into a top school or schools in the US, they weren't even pushing me to get into a top school. That's why you set systems, not goals. I didn't have this goal since freshman year, but technically, I've been working toward being number one way before high school even started. Way before freshman year, I was setting up systems and becoming who I am. Who I am and my systems are that of a valedictorian. What you achieve is a reflection of your identity, and it reflects your actions that are continually in alignment with that identity of excellence. This is not just something that happens overnight. All the tough classes I did, the efficient studying, the smart choices, I have the golden mindset anyway. I didn't do all of those because I wanted to rank number one. I ranked number one because I did all of those. The order is completely switched. That's why if you constantly convert time to work on yourself, you use time for you, not against you. Then you just can't lose. Even if you don't rank top 5, you will win no matter what. It's about who you are, not your arbitrary rankings or letters or numbers. Like my friend who ended up being salutatorian, he's freaking amazing and he got into Stanford and he's now building a startup. Like, he's great, and it didn't matter that he didn't become number one because the person he is was still an incredible person. I'm successful even today, 3 years out of college, not because I ranked valedictorian back in high school, but because of what I did and who I am to get there. Congrats! Give yourself a pat on the back. Those 1.5 million people who watched my short did not get nearly as much value as you just did. I hope. And that's because you improve the most when you are patient enough to understand deeply. That's why if the same tips were on a 50-second TikTok, no way are you going to become the most amazing person in the world. That's why no one became successful by watching TikToks all day. They became successful by reading books and consuming long-form content. I hope this was inspiring. Please comment your thoughts or follow-up questions and support each other's messages. I love seeing your conversations down there. I know this wasn't your typical 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 X points video. This is definitely something I hope that you continue coming back to. If there's one video you share with someone from my channel, let it be this video. I would appreciate it so much if you help spreading the values that I hope more of our society has. If you're here, you already have it in you, and I'll see you at the top. If you're interested in more story times like this and deep dives into my struggles and how I overcame challenges, then you can listen to my podcast, Your A+ Life. And just as the title suggests, keep acing life. See you next time.